Welcome to Eagles and Airwaves, voices and topics from Thompson Valley High School.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Game Corner. I'm Kason.
And I'm Andrew.
And Andrew's back for another podcast. Woo!
Against my will.
I don't have his family at gunpoint.
Yeah, but it was still against my will.
Yeah, that's right. So today
I'm talking about Elden Ring. This is my game. All right.
Yeah,
I chose this.
He did choose this. So I'm just gonna. I guess this will be like an interview. So, what is Elden Ring?
Elden Ring was Game of the Year in 2021, or I think it was 2021. I think that's right. Yeah.
Didn't even get your facts straight.
Looking it up. I was not prepared. I didn't spell release right. 2022. That's what it was.
2022.
It was Game of the Year in 2022. It's my personal favorite game of all time, and I have sunk in several hundred hours into the game, and I love it. It's really good. It's a masterpiece.
Awesome sauce. What's the premise?
The premise: you are a lonely tarnish with no renown whatsoever, and you are to reclaim the Elden Ring and rebuild it, basically, to bring hope back to the lands between. It's a lot of lore stuff. It's really complicated, and it's stupid. If you just play it for the gameplay, which is attack, roll. It's a Dark Souls game. It's fun, and it's challenging. Kason still hasn't beaten it yet.
This is true.
You want to bet you got it for free. You got the DLC for free, and you have barely gotten into the DLC. When was the last time we launched the game?
When we beat Moog together.
That was it.
That was the last time I launched the game, yes.
Play the game. It's a masterpiece.
I'll think about it.
It's perfect.
The game just got too easy. I don't know.
Game got too easy.
Too easy.
You couldn't beat Moog on your own.
Moog
tried. Is the Lord of Blood, who is like supposed to be like middle end-ish game.
Yeah, I beat that one guy. Second try. So.
Well, play the rest of the game. There's so much to explore. You can't run out of content unless you're like actively trying to bore yourself.
I mean, I know. It's just like, I don't really want to.
I have so many hundreds of hours into that game, and I still want more. I want to play more of it. I haven't even unlocked everything. I don't have everything, and I want more.
I see.
I want more content, but there's not going to be any more content because they released a DLC like last year, earlier this year.
A few months ago, yeah.
And I played that forever, not forever, for a while, and I beat it. I was the first one in the friend group to beat it entirely. I am going back through it again.
Whoa.
I even made an entirely new character, and I beat the game before you did.
Yeah.
Before you beat it once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've also played the game.
That was my 9th playthrough.
Yeah. In fact, if you hadn't beat it before me, you should be embarrassed.
Well, a lot of people have beaten it before you because you aren't playing it.
True.
You're not playing a masterful game. It was like 10 years in the making or something like that, and they were flawless about it. And then the lead creator, Miyazaki, said that it was close to his perfect game, but it wasn't it. So he's going to make something better than Elden Ring.
I see.
So beat Elden Ring already. The point of this podcast is to convince you to beat Elden Ring.
So, Mr. Ramos, what is the Elden Ring?
It is power, basically. It is the outer will, or the god of the outer will, or something like made incarnate. Basically, you become the king if you have it, or you become a puppet. It's one of the two. It depends on the ending. There's a lot of endings as well. I've done all of them.
I see.
Yeah.
Nerd.
I'm a nerd. What?
You're a nerd.
No, I just really like Elden Ring.
Yeah, nerd.
I've also watched like at least 100 hours worth of lore content because they don't explain anything in the game. You're just kind of thrown into it, and you have to work off the barely any knowledge you go into it with. And a lot of YouTubers make lore content that are like 3 to 4 hours long with each video. So
Interesting.
I watch all of them, so I understand everything.
Say, Andrew, this Saturday, I may or may not be playing a game of diplomacy.
No. I refuse to play that game.
Come on.
No.
Yeah.
You know my conditions, and I'm not.
What are your conditions again?
Are you dense on purpose, or are you just messing around?
I'm just asking. I'm interviewing you here.
You must get Aiden, Trenton, and the other Aiden
Trenton has been got.
to play.
Other Aiden?
Other Aiden.
I'll text him right now.
We need both Aidens, Trenton, me, and you.
Okay. What about Derek?
I mean, I guess, Derek. This isn't... Diplomacy sucks. I hate it so much.
Diplomacy's awesome.
It's a
See
terrible...
what I mean, everybody?
It's terrible.
Listen to my second
It is a
podcast
7-hour long...
review.
It is a 7-hour long board game where you sit around and you move pieces and you have to write down what your moves were so that way people don't think you're cheating. And then after that, after you move your pieces, you go talk to other people about how you're going to move your pieces next turn.
It's great.
It's awful.
And then you lie to people about where your pieces are moving.
I spent 6 hours in your house, Kason, and it was so boring.
Maybe to you.
We looked at a map of Europe for 6 hours.
Do you not do that like every day?
No, because I'm not a weirdo like you lizard.
You're the one who's a weirdo.
You're a lizard person.
I am not a lizard person.
You are. Look at you.
Not even true.
Very true. If there was video to this, I would be pointing at him right now, but you guys can't see anything.
Yeah. Anyway, Elden Ring.
You pissed me off.
Side tangent aside.
I hate diplomacy.
I love diplomacy. It's such a beautiful game.
You want to know what is a beautiful game? Elden Ring. You
Elden
should
Ring?
play it. You should beat it. Maybe once you beat Elden Ring, I'll actually play diplomacy.
Is that a challenge?
That is a challenge.
I reckon I could beat Elden Ring by Saturday.
I don't think you could beat Elden Ring by Saturday. You got
I'm
a
already
week.
like halfway through the game.
Yeah, but that's also like the hardest bosses left.
True. Well, if I don't do any of the optional side bosses like Millennia,
But you will.
will I?
But you will.
I probably will. You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
I've already got half of the Millennium medallion.
In order to beat Melania, one of the second hardest boss in the game now, you have to get these 2 medallions, and one of them is really late in the game, one of them is pretty early in the game. And she was really hard to begin with, but then the DLC came out, and then now she's like a cakewalk.
Really?
Yeah, because the DLC weapons are really good, and also the DLC is really hard, so it like it gives you skill.
Elden Ring's pay to win. Don't play it.
It's not pay to win.
Pay to win.
Maybe if you PvP. Side tangent, don't PvP in Elden Ring. It's boring, and people just use overpowered stuff. And overall, it's just not very fun unless you are using overpowered stuff and have like a build and everything.
I see. What's your favorite build?
One of the most overpowered builds, Bleed. I love Bleed builds. You stack up enough damage, and then they take a huge chunk of their health, and it's just gone. And it is pretty dumb. It's very effective, but a lot of the bosses are immune to Bleed. Or the last 2 bosses are.
I see. And how does progression work in this game?
Progression works in a way that is mostly up to you. You could basically just do whatever you want, go wherever you want. But in order to unlock the capital, you have to have at least 2 great runes, which are taken from the demigods, who are shard bearers of the Elden Ring. And you could find them all over the place, basically. There's Rykard, who is a giant snake guy, the Lord of Blasphemy. There's Morgoth and Margit, who are the same person. But
Look up Elden Ring lore if you want to know more.
there's how did I forget her name? What was her name? Queen of the Full Moon. I can't remember her name.
Renala.
Renala, thank you.
Says the guy who played hundreds of hours of this game.
She's the easiest boss and the most forgettable, okay?
That's true.
Who is the Queen of the Full Moon. There's, let's see, there's Melania, who is the goddess of Rot. Oh, how could I forget? There's Moog, the Lord of Blood. There's Ronnie, who you don't fight, but she is a demigod. And there's also
Radon.
Shard. I can't speak, which is usually helpful for podcasts. There is Star Scourge Radon, who is the best fight. And usually in Elden Ring, you have a summon limit of like 2 people or 2 NPCs. But with Star Scourge Radon, you can have like infinite. It's so good. It's a festival, and it's awesome, and he's one of my favorite fights.
My personal favorite, yes.
Yeah, because you haven't played any of the other fights.
I have played the other fights.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Yeah. Save it for the...
Beat some of the dragons or something, dude.
Dragons
There's also
suck.
a bunch of dragons.
Dragons
are
stink.
awesome. You haven't even gotten to the fun dragons.
Which fun dragon? There are no fun dragons.
Yes, there is. I'm immediately blanking on the name.
Wow.
This is why I stopped
So there
doing
are no
podcasts.
fun.
This is why I stopped doing podcasts, because my like brain, as soon as the recording starts, it just like turns to ash. Ash of War, like from
What?
weapons on Elden Ring.
Huh?
Anyway, what was his name? What was that dragon? Placidusax. Oh my god. It's such an easy name. How did I forget it? Placidusax, the Dragon Lord.
What does he do?
He's a multi-headed dragon who's found inside a tornado inside of time.
Inside of time.
Yeah, you go into the tornado, or you lay down on this weird thing. It's a very hidden area. You lay down, time starts rewinding, and then you go into a tornado, and time stops, and then he's there. Or you could fight Bale in the DLC if you ever get to it.
Curse you,
Bale is such a fun fight. He's
Is he?
also a massive dragon who's heavily wounded because him and Placidusax fought in lore, and Placidusax won, but Bale took 2 of his heads. Yeah, you could see it on his character design, can't you? Did you know that?
No, because I have not fought Bale.
Yeah. Which is something you should do.
Interesting.
Fight Bale. Fight any other boss. Beat the game. Beat the DLC. Spoiler for the DLC, by the way. So if you don't want to hear about that, you might want to stop now.
Oh, okay.
The final boss for the DLC is also Radon, but he's in Mohg's body because of some reason, and he's under control of Mikola, who is his younger brother. But
Isn't that like his power?
yeah, it's his power source basically, because he's a promised consort, so he's gonna be like in command when Mikola takes over and becomes the new Elden Lord, which is someone who holds the Elden Ring. But
That won't happen because we exist.
yeah, so we go in there, we stop them, and then there's no achievements in the DLC. There's also no ending attached to it, which was really upsetting. But you do get a cutscene of a chair and Mikola talking, so that's pretty cool, I guess.
A chair and
Yeah.
Mikola talking?
You hear a chair, you see Mikola, or yeah, you hear a chair.
It's just like...
You see a chair, and you hear Mikola, and he's talking about, like, the promise he made to Radon or something, whatever. Anyway, and then that's it.
Pretty cool.
And then you're stuck with these huge, like, gate to heaven, basically, gate to another plane of existence, and then it's just like, all right, you're done. Nothing to do here.
You may leave.
Yeah. People are speculating there's going to be a second DLC, but I don't think so because the creator hasn't said anything about that. So
Very peculiar.
I think we will not have any more Elden Ring content,
Mhm.
which is upsetting.
So all I have to do to get you to play diplomacy is just confirm Derek, Aiden, and Aiden.
Derek, Aiden, and Aiden. Yeah. And then
How many
also
people would that be? Actually, I have to count so I don't like...
Aiden,
get
Aiden,
12
Derek,
people?
Trenton, me, you. 6.
Never mind, Nate won't play diplomacy.
How many people do you need?
7. So just one more.
You
I
could
could
just
get
leave out
Cade.
Italy.
I can get Cade.
You could just leave out Italy.
I could get
You
Cade.
could leave out Italy.
How about Sam, my stepbrother?
You could leave out Italy.
We'll figure it out.
No.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. This was a great podcast.
Kason beat
Thank
Elden
you-
Ring.
Thank you, Andrew, for coming on to the... Thank you for coming on to the podcast.
It
I
won't
appreciate
happen
it.
again.
You say that, yet it gets you out of sitting at a table for an hour and a
Yeah,
half.
but I could be playing like Super Auto Pets or something, or Roblox. Horse Plinko? I could talk about Horse Plinko right now.
What's Horse Plinko? Quick.
No,
you have
I'm
30
not,
seconds.
I'm not talking about Horse Plinko.
Oh, okay. Can I?
No.
Okay. Thank you everybody for listening. I was Kason,
I'm Andrew.
and I'll see you next time. Andrew, mate. Bye bye.
I hate you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Eagles and Airwaves, Voices and Topics from Thompson Valley High School.